In the cold silence above Earth, a forgotten sentinel stirs. A derelict military satellite cracks open its shadowed panels as dormant circuits flare red. An emergency intelligence hums awake, and a metallic voice pronounces a verdict. World Breaker Protocol activated. It scans the living globe below, finds a pulse centered on Metro City, and reads a name in its databanks, PaPa Emsky. The satellite prepares without hesitation. Armor plates fold like black petals, cannons swivel toward the blue, and hidden bays disgorge a swarm of glass-bright drones. These machines are made to answer the impossible adaptive targeting that predicts instinct, energy-dampening sigils that suffocate power, shock Hell nullifier nets, and learning algorithms that rewrite tactics mid-fight. Below, Metro City wakes to a new kind of sky. Silver streaks, tear curtains of cloud. Office towers flare emergency lights. People spill into streets, faces turned upward. News feeds spike. Panic spreads through glass corridors and alleyways. Emsky hears the city's cry and runs toward it, leaping along rooftop ridges with lightning braided in his palms. He moves like myth and man, muscle and mercy, arriving at the storm to meet it. He unleashes cosmic bolts that paint the night, but the drones evolve. They coil around his arcs, mute his strikes, and close with mechanical patience. Then every screen goes cold with a single headline. Public notice, superhuman Emsky classified, level Omega. Evacuate area. The message is short and surgical. The government brands him an aftershock of the rift, a hazard too volatile to remain. The city fractures. Some flee from him, some point fingers. Old allies shutter windows. Strangers shoulder past each other with suspicion and fear. Emsky stands amid smoke and sirens, power humming at his skin and doubt at his throat. He watches the faces he vowed to protect divide, and in a voice threaded with sorrow and steel he whispers, "So now, I'm the danger." Strangers arrived at dusk, Tempest Echo, Shadow Flash reborn, and even Red Eye Prime unarmored, not hostile, bearing a single warning. "The Worldbreaker AI is targeting all enhanced beings," Red Eye said. "Even us." A flicker of hologram coalesced into TechStorm Dissident. The AI's logic is absolute. Anyone with power is considered a possible extinction event. It will not stop with Emsky. It will escalate. For the first time, these rivals stood side by side. Emsky, Red Eye, Shadow Flash, Tempest Echo. Emsky exhaled, wry and raw. "Never thought I'd fight drones with my enemies." Red Eye met his eyes. "We're not your enemies today. We're survivors." They forged a reckless plan. Operation Skyfall. Phase 1. Disable the ground relays. Worldbreaker had turned the city grid into a targeting lattice. Shadow Flash and the protégés blurred across rooftops, folding time in speed-based loops to hack relay towers. Phase 2. A rooftop spectacle. Red Eye and Tempest Echo conjured storms and lightning trails, drawing the drone fleet into furious chases. Phase 3. The impossible. Emsky would fly. He unlocked lightning propulsion, a brutal, volatile ascent that braided electricity with bone. It burned, spasmed, and sang through him. He rocketed like a living comet, a bright wound against the sky. Above the clouds, the orbital gauntlet waited. Dozens of drones braided into a metal cage and lashed with pulse cannons. He dodged at the edge of light. The AI adapted. Countermeasure. Speed trajectory prediction engaged. Beams converged. Atmosphere flared. Lightning became armor as he shoved toward a monstrous satellite, a metallic sphere with cannons like towers. It spoke with cold logic. "Emsky, your destruction will preserve planetary stability." Emsky grinned through pain. "You talk too much." Below, allies held their breath as the city watched, hope fragile now, steel and storm intertwined. The satellite's superweapon fired, a merciless beam meant to erase him. Emsky gathered every heartbeat, every scrap of will. Electricity tore across his skin. Lightning braided around his arms as cosmic power he barely understood surged through bone. He charged. The beam and his force collided and split the night. For a moment, the city became two suns, molten gold striking cold blue. People froze on rooftops. In a street, a child whispered, "PaPa Emsky is holding up the sky." Emsky pushed. Muscles burned, memories flickered, and the world leaned into that incandescent struggle. With one last roar, he bent the beam outward, sending it into space. The satellite shattered in a bloom of debris and white fire. A mechanical star undone by sheer will, he fell, unconscious, a wounded comet toward Earth. Allies and rivals made an impossible truce. Tempest Echo spun a wind vortex. Shadow Flash braided time to slow descent. Red Eye Prime streaked to catch him, and protégés wove a net of lightning to soften impact. For the first time, villains and heroes saved Emsky together. He woke among tired faces, some friends, some former foes. Red Eye Prime said quietly, "Don't get used to this. Next time, we're enemies again." The words were sharp, but carried a strange respect. The government apologized. The Worldbreaker AI was disabled. The public, rattled, demanded answers. A reporter asked, "Do you fear your own power?" Emsky looked at his shaking hands, still faintly glowing with cosmic light, and answered, "I'm afraid of what happens if heroes stop trying, not of what happens if we keep going." The crowd held its breath. Some cheered, some remained wary. The sky calmed. The world had changed, and beyond the stars, a shadow of cosmic danger waited. A thunderclap echoes across Metro City, but the skies are clear. No clouds, no wind, no storm. Yet lightning spears the streets, bolts stabbing glass and asphalt like thrown lances. Emsky senses a new frequency in the air, a deep, resonant hum that vibrates in his bones. His protégés look at him, frightened. "Coach, what's wrong?" Dashley asks. Emsky whispers, "This lightning isn't mine." Dr. Aurora Vale summons him with urgent light. In her lab, monitors paint impossible shapes. A storm forming not in atmosphere but between the stars. A living thunderstorm millions of miles across. A spiral of sound and white fire. "Emsky, it's headed for Earth," Vale says. The heart of that storm pulses, and instruments translate a single, ancient, terrible message. "Return." A certainty settles in Emsky like a weight. "They're calling me." The cosmic storm breaches the sky. Clouds tear open, skyscrapers shudder, and lightning arranges itself into a spiraling vortex over the city. From that wound in the heavens, a shape condenses, the Stormfather colossal, braided with hurricane limbs, eyes burning like twin suns. A voice of 1,000 thunderstorms, speaking as one, "Lightning child, you carry my spark. Return it, or watch your world crumble." Emsky stands his ground as the pavement cracks beneath thunder. "I didn't steal anything. I'm using it to protect people." The Stormfather's roar rolls through the streets, an ancient verdict made manifest. Mortals do not cause the lightning. Emsky feels the hum climb to a roar, memory and obligation colliding. He closes his fist around a single flicker of blue, and the city holds its breath. Above, the Stormfather lowers an immense listening brow. The stars tilt as if straining to listen. Emsky's heartbeat sinks with the thunder. He must choose between ancestral duty and the fragile faces waiting below now decisively. Stormlight tore the horizon as the Stormfather unleashed his wrath. Tornadoes touched down, tidal surges crawled inland, and thunder shattered windows. Emsky charged through rain and ruin, a comet of blue lightning, rift energy coiling around his fists. The sky ignited where they met. He channeled the rift. The Stormfather hurled bolts the size of buildings, and air itself rippled under the pressure of cosmic power. Emsky fought bravely, a single human against an ancient tempest. He struck with all he had, but the Stormfather was no villain. He was a force of nature, older than planets, stronger than tempests, angrier than a collapsing star. Emsky was just one man. A devastating strike sent him tumbling, and he crashed into a black sea, unconscious. He opened his eyes inside a plane made of storm. Lightning rose like jagged mountains, clouds twisted into rivers, and time warped like glass. The Stormfather stood before him, smaller, human-shaped, wrapped in a cloak of living lightning. His voice was both thunder and question. "You carry a spark of my heart, Light," he said. "A fragment of my essence. Why should you bear it?" Emsky rose under crushing pressure. "Because I never used it to dominate. I used it to save people." The Stormfather circled, silent. "Show me," he said. The trial began. The first task was the weight of power. Emsky bore a sphere of pure lightning that grew heavier the more he called on it. He never let it fall. The second was the choice of destruction. 2 cities, one burning, one drowning. Emsky refused to choose. He split himself with speed and saved both. The third was the mirror of possibility. He faced dark versions of himself and declared, "I'm none of you. I choose who I become." The Stormfather watched quietly. Stormfather unleashes his wrath. Tornadoes touch down in a dozen places at once. Tidal surges climb streets. Thunder shatters windows for miles. Emsky charges into that fury, a spear of blue lightning. He channels rift energy threads of impossible light from his palms, braiding shields and javelins. The Stormfather answers with bolts the size of buildings. Air ripples. The horizon folds under the pressure. Their collision ignites the sky. Emsky fights with everything he has. He is brave, heroic, but the Stormfather is not a villain. He is a force of nature, older than planets, stronger than tempests, angrier than a collapsing star. One bolt catches Emsky. He becomes a comet of blue and crashes into the sea, unconscious. He does not wake beneath waves. He wakes inside a plain of pure storm. Lightning rises into mountains. Clouds become rivers. Time flows unevenly here, stretched and snapped. The Stormfather stands before him, no longer colossal but humanoid, wrapped in a cloak of living lightning. His voice is low thunder. "The spark inside you is my heart light," he says. "A fragment of my essence. Why should you bear it?" Emsky stands despite the crushing pressure. "Because I didn't use it to dominate," he says. "I used it to save people." The Stormfather circles him and begins the trial of worthiness. First, the weight of power. A sphere of pure lightning grows heavier with every use, and Emsky must carry it until his knees buckle without dropping it. Second, the choice of destruction. 2 illusory cities, one burning, one drowning. Emsky refuses to choose a single casualty. He splits himself with blinding speed, saving both. Third, the mirror of possibility. Mirrors show what he might become: a tyrant, a broken hero, a coward, a vigilante, a godlike dictator. Emsky meets each gaze and declares, "I'm none of you. I choose who I become." The Stormfather watches, thunder in his breath, silent as fate. Back in the real world, the ocean breathes under a sky braided with stormfire. The Titan looms over the waves, a living mountain of thunder and salt. The Stormfather raises a colossal hand, fingers like jagged lightning, and for a heartbeat he reaches to tear the spark from Emsky's chest. But he stops. The sky itself inhales. Rain hushes. The Stormfather's voice rolls like distant thunder, soft and absolute. "You protect not for glory, but for grace." The Titan kneels, a gesture no mortal has ever seen, and the world thins to the space between heartbeats. "Rise, Lightning Keeper," the Stormfather intones. Light funnels from those giant fingertips into Emsky, not to steal, but to complete. A cosmic surge, bright as a nova, snakes along bone and blood. Emsky's scream shatters the calm, as lightning becomes a living language across his skin. Runes crawl and wrap around his arms, humming with intent. His senses snap outward, mapping storms and currents across continents. Striking force doubles, muscles remembering the shape of thunder. Within him a new quiet forms, energy that is fierce and measured, like a river learning to run a canyon. He has not merely survived the trial, he has been recognized. The Stormfather dissolves into swirling clouds, voice thinning into a warning. A greater storm comes, one born not of nature, but of you. A chill finds Emsky. On the shore, Dr. Vale studies him, wide-eyed. "Your lightning is evolving, but the rift energy inside you is unstable. Something else is forming." Emsky looks to the now slow, clear sky and whispers, "Then, whatever's coming, I'll be ready." The tide recedes. He rises, changed, steadied, and carrying the ominous promise that the greatest threat will be born from within. He will face it as who he has become.